about, in the ethics you might have already seen the code-based questions, and when the code-based questions are there, they are generally from the personalities which are certain historical personalities, whether it is the Indian history or the world history. Incremental habit, as pointed out by even the books like Atomic Habits, that is going to push you towards the final goal. Now we are taking you towards the UPSC actual examination. So the nature of question will be more analytical, that will be more opinion based, that will be more closer to the UPSC. Detailed syllabus is being provided so that you should be assured that yes, these are the decoded themes based upon which you can expect the question. Hello everyone, I am Vishal Salsekar, and today we are going to discuss a new initiative and program which is regarding the history optional. Right. So when we are talking about a program that is specifically targeting the history optional, first we have to discuss that why history optional is a very important subject that you can opt for. Because when we are preparing for this particular examination, the nature of this examination is, when specifically we are talking about the mains exam, there is a need to choose an optional subject. Now when you are asked to choose any specific optional subject, the kind of things that you can take into consideration might be your interest, might be your subject of background, but then also you have to take into consideration that what kind of yield this particular subject is going to give you. When we are talking about the history as an optional subject, the first advantage that you can get as far as this particular optional subject is concerned, that in this optional, basically every year, and specifically if I tell you from the perspective of roughly 2020 onwards, every year the topper have scored more than 300 marks cumulatively in both the papers of optional. That means this particular optional paper is giving you roughly good number of marks so that you can take into consideration that this optional subject is going to help you with respect to the marks in this examination. So first consideration that you can take is regarding the marks that this particular history optional subject can give you. Now next consideration may be that there is a need to identify that what to read, what not to read. And history, given the nature as the static subject comparatively and very well defined syllabus, because when we see the syllabus of any other optional, there are certain inherent aspects that are more predominant. But when we talk about history, this history is divided into like the paper 1 and paper 2. But in paper 1, we are talking about the ancient history and the medieval history. When we are talking about paper 2, it is basically the modern history and the world history. So the syllabus is comparatively clearly defined when it comes to the mains examination with respect to the optional subjects. So here also, when there is a clearly defined syllabus of any specific subjects, obviously this particular thing can be an advantage for you, and this will help you in order to better prepare for the examination along with that for certain other subjects, because you will be having adequate amount of time for the other general studies subjects. Now when we are talking about the time taken in order to prepare for this particular subject as an optional subject, you also sometimes take into consideration that is it having certain kind of overlapping with any other general studies subjects, because generally when we are taking into consideration selecting any specific optional, this is the general consideration that is there. So as far as the overlapping is concerned, when we talk about its overlapping, so specifically talking about the general studies one entire history subject, which includes even the ancient, medieval, modern, post-independence, world history, and even including the aspects like art and culture. So there you are going to get a decent amount of overlapping, roughly more than 40% ke around paper will be completely doable if you are having this particular optional subject. So 35 to 40% we can assume depending upon the number of questions. Apart from that also, as far as we are talking about the overlapping, it's not only general studies 1. Even in the context of general studies 4, when we are talking about in the ethics, you might have already seen the code-based questions. And when the code based questions are there, they are generally from the personalities which are certain historical personalities, whether it is the Indian history or the world history. So when we are talking about the Indian and the world history ke prominent personalities, in that case when these quotes are being asked in the general studies 4, there also you are going to get the added advantage. Even apart from that, this is not it. Even in the context of the essay, because in the essay you are expected to explore it in multiple dimensions, not necessarily always pastel approach, but you can also incorporate examples in the wider area as far as possible that you can take, and the history provides you a lot of example regarding the analysis of the history and the other aspects. So in all these cases there is a decent amount of overlapping that you are going to get. So as far as GS1 is concerned, 30-35% definitely it is going to be there. Even apart from that, there will be substantial amount of questions that can overlap with GS4. Along with that, essay is also one such thing. Acha. Another consideration that is there when you are selecting any specific optional is regarding the resources available, and then in that resources also the credible resources. Because generally hota kya hai, when we are asked to choose any specific optional subject and if there are no decent resources available, how we are going to do the preparation, how we are going to assess ourselves. There should be certain credible test series, there should be certain kind of value added program or the material. So in all these particular cases, history is one such optional regarding which the material is available, and even the credible resources, including the Vision IAS resources, which are being provided to you as far as the history optional is concerned. So when it comes to the test series, resources, in all these sense, the history is one such optional where the resources are readily available, because every year the topper opts, and roughly within top 10 ranks there is the topper from the history optional subject. When we have talked about the history as an optional subject, which is very important, and these are certain added advantage that when you are taking history as an optional subject, these are going to be available with you. So in that particular case, now let's try to understand that what are the difficulties, because when we are asked to choose the optional, at that point of time there are certain difficulties that are there, and in order to come over those particular difficulties, there should be certain program which is crafted from the perspective of your need. Because hota kya hai that yes, we are interested in this subject, yes, this is having certain overlapping with the general studies subject, but apart from that we are not having certain dedicated program in that particular context. So for this there is a need to dedicated program with respect to the history optional also. Why is it there? Because when we talk about the history as an optional subject, you might have also observed, if you have gone through the history subjects, generally reading the ancient, medieval, modern, world history appears to be easy. Even many a time you prepare also well from your perspective, but what happens when you are asked to write the answers? So in the perspective of answer writing, there is a major difficulty that occurs, that we are not able to interlink those particular events. We are not able to give the historiography. We are not able to give the adequate arguments in that particular context. And when we are missing on those things, that means there is a clear gap between the demand from the side of examiner and the supply that you are giving to him or her. And in that case, obviously you are not going to get comparatively better marks in that particular subjects. So struggle to write answers specifically in history is very, very inevitable if you are not having any specific dedicated program in this context. Next is obviously when you are writing the answer, yes, it is important, but it is equally important in order to understand that what UPSC psyche is. It's not like the university examination where, yes, you have read this, exactly this is going to be replicated in the examination. So UPSC has tendency to repeat its trends also, repeat its theme also. And then there are certain set themes as far as the subjects like history is concerned. And if you have decoded those particular things, believe me, the optional will be comparatively very, very easy for you, specifically from the history optional perspective. So the answer writing has to be done, but it has to be also done along with the trend analysis. So ऐसा नहीं कि answer writing बस कर रहे हैं, there should be a clear idea regarding what is the trend. And it's not like there is a static trend, because when we are writing answers, if you see 1 year's paper, if you try to see the other year's paper, you will see clearly that there are certain dynamic aspects that are being incorporated by UPSC. So what does it tell? That UPSC has this tendency to go for certain new things also. There will be some amount of themes which will be repetitive, but in that manner also they can ask you certain evolved aspects. They can ask you certain dynamic aspects. So we also should be in a position to identify that yes, this event has happened, this kind of inscription was found, this particular thing was added in certain books or not, and in that sense we should be able to identify कि अगर ये हुआ है, so we can expect this kind of question. The detailed analysis of this event could be asked in the upcoming examination. So there is a need to also identify the evolving pattern of the UPSC examination, which is not only from history perspective but from all the subjects perspective. It is equally important. Lastly, when we are talking about the PYQ, and we are a lot emphasizing upon PYQ because specifically in the optional subjects, PYQ definitely going to give you a lot of idea regarding the themes that UPSC will be comparatively more interested in. And when we are talking about the more interested themes of UPSC, the PYQ integration is very, very important because first, that is providing you theme. Second, that is providing you the way they are going to formulate the question. Third, it is going to give you the scope of the question that yes, regarding this event, these much things UPSC had asked. That means in the next year also, to somewhat extent, if there is any other event asked, so इसी तरीके के कुछ themes UPSC focus करेगा. That's why it's not about mugging up the PYQ or just referring to the PYQ. It is about integrating that PYQ in your preparation, which is equally important for all the optional and even for all the general studies subjects. And you have to take this particular thing very, very seriously when you are preparing for this examination. So, having discussed about this need for the dedicated program regarding the specifically history optional, now let's talk about what as an institute Vision IAS is offering you regarding specifically for the history optional. Now see, you might have already seen a lot of test series, but this is way beyond than the test series. How it is different from the test series which are already there in the market. So there are multiple features which are making it distinct from the test series that you might be seeking. What are the distinct or the add up upon the aspects in this is the integration of the PYQ sessions. Now see, first regarding the credibility. So as we were talking about that when we are taking any optional, you are seeking the credibility, that credible sources should be there. So when credible institute is providing you something as far as this particular optional is concerned, now in that we have divided this entire course or program into two parts. The first part is talking about the PYQ session. Now what is this particular PYQ session? So there will be total 20 sessions that are crafted specifically for you based upon the PYQ themes and the decoding and the analysis of that. Now how these particular sessions are going to take place? So these will be 20 faculty-led sessions. Now in this the faculties are going to come. There will be pre-recorded sessions that are gradually going to be uploaded on your portal. Now how those particular classes are going to take care of the theme. So for example, there are total 2 papers. In those 2 papers, in the paper 1, there is ancient, there is medieval, right? So there will be 4 sessions out of these 20 will be dedicated specifically for the ancient. Now in that, what is going to take place? There will be 4 pre-recorded classes before the sectional test of the ancient history. All these 4 classes are going to be uploaded on your portal. These will be analyzing roughly in each session 6 to 7 mains previous year's question are going to be taken by the faculty. The respective faculty is going to come in the class. They are going to give you the detailed analysis of those. It's not just reading up the question or giving just the dimensions of the question. It's about the detailed analysis. It's about the understanding of the context that why UPSC had asked the question. It's about even talking about the way in which in future years UPSC can ask the similar kind of question. So it's not only giving you the idea that this was the theme UPSC had asked, it is also going to give you an idea that if this theme was asked and this will be asked again, in that case, what might be the dimensions UPSC can be further interested in. So this is going to give you certain kind of cues as far as the upcoming 2026 Mains examination and specifically history optional examination is concerned. So similarly, even for medieval also there will be 4 classes. So like this for the paper 2. So in the paper 2 there will be again for modern there will be 4 classes, and for the world history there will be 4 classes. So like this there will be total 16 classes for both paper 1 and paper 2. Total number of classes will be 16 in this manner. Now what about the remaining 4 classes? So remaining 4 classes will be specifically regarding the maps. So in the history optional, the first question in the paper 1 that you are going to see is regarding the maps, right? You have to identify the locations jo mark ki gayi hain. You have to write about that also. So in that particular context, it's very, very low hanging fruit that you can utilize. And for that, there will be 4 dedicated sessions that are going to be provided. So when these 4 dedicated sessions are included in this, the total number of PYQ sessions are going to be 20 in this particular context. और जब ये 20 classes मिल रही हैं, these classes for the respective section will be uploaded before the sectional test. That means once you might have got your content from whatever source you are referring to, once you have done with your unit test, you are now trying to integrate these particular sessions in your preparation, and believe me, this kind of integration where all the needed aspects with respect to those questions along with multiple type of approaches, along with the detailed analysis of the question which is existing and which can come even in the future year, decoding the themes of that will help you and that will make your task comparatively easier. So this is about the PYQ sessions that are specifically provided to you, and this is the add-on feature in this particular course with respect to the history optional. Next important thing is the test series which is available to you. So in the test series, there will be total 16 number of tests that are provided to you. So how these 16 tests are going to be provided? So see, when we are starting any specific preparation, initially we need to break the inertia. Without breaking the inertia, you will not write the answer. You will not even start writing the answer. And when you will start writing your first answer, eventually you will see that yes, the answer is not up to the mark. That's why when we have designed this particular course, so in that course, the team has taken into consideration the psyche of the student. So initially that inertia breaking is very, very important. That's why in the unit test, which will be 2 tests for each subject, like 2 for ancient, 2 for medieval, 2 for modern and 2 for world history, in those the nature of question will be kept comparatively on the simpler side or the easier side. And ऐसा नहीं है कि सिर्फ easy होगा, it is easy to moderate type of question, so that at least you will start writing answer, you will start breaking your inertia, and then you will be in the habit of writing answer. And this incremental habit, as pointed out by even the books like Atomic Habits, that is going to push you towards the final goal. And this particular push is going to help you ultimately getting success in this examination. So then there will be 2 mini tests for each subjects. This is total number of tests including the 8 tests. So 8 ye ho gaye. And after this 8 number of tests, there will be further 4 sectional tests. Now how many sections are there? One is ancient, one is medieval, one is modern, one is world, right? So there will be 4 sections. So once there will be, let's say, 2 tests of ancient are done, after that there will be 1 sectional test of ancient will be there. And before this sectional test, these 4 sessions regarding the ancient history are going to be uploaded on a portal, so that whatever you have learned from the ancient ka test likhne se, what kind of feedback you have got, now you can incorporate. You can see the detailed analysis of those particular questions and which were there in the previous year, and now you can go confidently writing this sectional test. So for every section, there will be 1 test. So now these number of tests are 8 plus 4, 12. Now what are the remaining 4 tests? So these are the full length tests. So for the general, for the paper 1, there will be 2 tests. For the history optional paper 1, 2 tests. For the history optional paper 2, there will be 2 tests. So then this total will be 16. Now, as here in the unit test or the mini test, we have talked about that these are comparatively easier or easier to moderate in nature. But then when it comes to the sectional test, now we are taking you towards the UPSC actual examination. So the nature of question will be more analytical, that will be more opinion based, that will be more closer to the UPSC. So we will try to not exactly simulate, but we will try to make you reach towards your goal writing the actual examination. So in that case, in the sectional test, it will be comparatively more deeper analysis based questions. But when it comes to the full length test of the test series, which will be exactly like the way UPSC asks the question, here you can also expect the nature of question will be analytical, the nature of question will be too much closer to the UPSC, and the nature of question is like you will be feeling that yes, this is the actual kind of UPSC examination. So it will be the real simulation of the UPSC examination. Now the best part with respect to all these, that for all these 16 tests, you are going to get the discussion also. So it's not about that we are just providing you the 20 faculty-led PYQ session. Even after the individual test, there is a provision of the test discussion. And in that, suppose karo, after writing the test, if you are finding that, yes, I want to discuss with someone, so in that particular case, one-to-one mentoring is also provided to you. So this is the holistic idea about the program feature that are being provided to you. So from the easy to moderate to difficult to actually simulating the UPSC type environment, this is going to holistically help you to prepare with the history optional, and not only prepare, even try to integrate, and also after integrating, replicating the same thing in order to get the success with this history optional as far as the UPSC examination is concerned. Now having discussed about the program feature, like this, there is a syllabus that is provided to you for the sectional test, for the unit test. Then after unit, there will be sectional test integrating both. So for example, this is for the unit test 1 and unit test 2, which is for the ancient history. So you can see detailed syllabus is being provided, so that you should be assured that yes, these are the decoded themes based upon which you can expect the question. There will be certain deeper question also, but yes, initially the level of question will be kept comparatively on the easier side. Now when there will be individual tests, so for example, let's say these tests, what mini tests are, these will be of 150 marks. So you can expect the lesser number of question in this unit test. But this particular test are going to help you in order to break your inertia. After writing this unit test 1 and unit test 2, there will be then sectional test organized. So you can see that, let's say 12 October, after that 26 October, and then on the 2nd November, you are going to get the unit test ke basis pe there will be sectional test. It's not obviously the same question. The questions will be from the section of the ancient history. That means now after writing 2 tests, you should be getting some confidence regarding writing. Then after analysis of that, after getting feedback, after getting the remarks, and along with that, let's say mentoring also, you will also get the PYQ session discussion, and then in that case, you are going to write the sectional test. Now in that sectional test, there will be syllabus of unit test 1 and 2, which is both the above test will be asked. So like this, for even for medieval, then the medieval ka unit test ke basis pe there will be sectional test. Then there will be for the modern, then there will be for the world history. So like this, all the sections of the history optionals in this particular manner are going to be completed. Now having discussed about the nature and the way questions will be framed and the way the tests are going to be asked. Now in unit test, we have discussed it will be of 150 marks. So there will be roughly 4 questions, and in that there will be subpart also. For the ancient, there will be even the map based questions that will be asked. But for the sectional test and for the test which will be the full length test, there will be 250 marks papers that will be there, exactly like UPSC, but in sectional test, it will be all compulsory question. In the full length test, there will be exact replication of the UPSC, like that there will be options also available. Now having discussed about that, now let's talk about that how other than this, other facilities are available to you. So in that particular facility, the most important one is the answer writing blueprint. Now you might have already seen a lot of approach answers at your end. Whenever you are provided with any specific test series, you are getting the approach answer. That approach answer is like how UPSC can expect that you should be writing your answer in this manner. There will be certain pointers, there will be fact, there will be data, there will be examples, there will be certain personalities that are being quoted, right? There will be deeper analysis. But the point simply here is that when we are expecting from your side that you should be replicating those, it's not like that exact that approach answer should be written. It's like you should ingrain the pointers that are specifically talked about in that particular answer writing blueprint, and then you should be having your own pointers available with you. So that should be a cue for you. That should not be the only thing that you should be writing. So in that case, what we are now providing is the answer writing blueprint, which is not only about the approach answer, it is also about giving you the detailed analysis of that, why that particular question was asked, what all things UPSC is expecting or we are expecting as an evaluator, and then there will be further detailed idea regarding different approaches for that particular questions. So in that case, there will be deconstruction of the question that will be provided in the same thing. Apart from that, even in that case, you can expect that the understanding of the exact demand of the UPSC. Next, building the answer. So in that building the answer wala thing, what you can expect from our side, that we will provide you the key concept theories. Along with that, there will be options provided कि भाई देखो, these are the number of theories you can utilize based upon your need, and it's not like कि ये दो चीजें हैं, only these things should be written. There will be multiple other aspects that you can expect from our side in this particular answer writing blueprint. So in that key concepts theories, along with that value addition and the visual analysis. So suppose karo, if there is any book that was in news and based upon that the question was formed, so there is context also mentioned, so that when UPSC is going to ask, so similar thing you can also expect from the side of UPSC's end. Similarly, then key differentiators. So see, many of the students might be going through these things, but then only some of you are going to get selected, because this is the competitive examination, a relative examination. Who is going to perform better is going to sail through. Yes. So in that particular case, there are certain alternatives are being provided to you. So those who are really working upon their answer writing skills, they are very serious about their preparation. They are obviously would want to go to the alternatives also, which are being provided in the answer writing blueprint. So in that case, what they can do, they can specifically go through that particular content, go through the alternative, whatever is fitting based upon their natural answer writing and the demand of the question, they can integrate that, so that there will be multiplicity of the things that will be available at your disposal, and then accordingly you can select as per the need of the question. Because ऐसा तो नहीं है कि exact same question is going to be asked. There will be some differentiation that will be done, maybe thoda bahut language change ho, but in that case you can expect on the similar themes, and that is also being provided in our hit ratio, that this much number of questions were directly or indirectly were asked, and that is also available in the form of blog that I'll show you. Right. So the alternative introduction, thematic conclusion, scholar's opinion, these are very important, and these are also going to be provided to you. So like this, you can expect the answers in the form of the Vision IS is going to provide you certain answer writing blueprint. So you can see this question. The significant feature of the Indian Councils Act of 1892 was the principle of election, which it introduced, though the word election was carefully avoided it. And this is one such kind of lacuna of this act is mentioned, that the election ka methodology to introduce kiya, but this particular terminology of election was not incorporated. That's why it was a half-hearted attempt. Now, when there is a detailed deconstruction, there is a breakdown that is provided to you. Now, what all things UPSC is expecting, how this is linked to the PYQ. So in that case, you can expect that dekho, this question which UPSC had asked in this year, this is also have certain inspiration from the previous year question, that is going to give you an idea कि भाई previous year's question are very important, and you should integrate that in your preparation. Then it is talking about that what is the deconstruction, that it talks about the introduction, it talks about certain important pointers, then it talks about the core pointers, and then in a prioritized manner it is building up upon the answer. After that, it's not over here. It's like the key differentiator points to gain the additional mark. That means ऐसा नहीं है कि ये लिखना ही है, but if you want to gain certain additional marks, you can also incorporate these particular scholarly opinion, which generally we tend to seek. But then we are missing out on these particular pointers. यहाँ पे you can incorporate these pointers as per your need and as per your understanding, and then make your answer further flourishing. So in that case, even if the half mark extra, if you are going to get, this half mark is going to secure you comparatively better place in the final list. So when we are talking about that, these are the key differentiator. These key differentiator will be utilized by each and everyone differently, but you should be utilizing this mindfully in order to enrich your answer, and then the approach to conclusion also. So the entire schema of the answer is going to be provided to you as far as this particular examination is concerned and this particular program is concerned. This is going to be definitely helping you in the actual examination. Now, talking about, because we have already discussed a lot of things, but talking about a consolidated aspects like what vision advantage you are going to get in this particular program. So the first thing is innovative assessment, which is the evaluation and the feedback, which is detailed and comprehensive, which is going to be provided to you roughly 7 to 10 days may once you are going to submit your answer sheets. Once you are going to submit that, within 7 to 10 days, you are going to get the detailed feedback, which will provide you the contextual aspects, content, introduction, conclusion, the value addition that you can do. All these things are in detail provided to you. After that, if you want to get certain one-to-one mentoring session, that also you can get. So there will be even the mentorship, which will be provided to you after this. Next is the All India ranking. So this is All India based examination. So there will be All India ranking also. So you can assess yourself that out of all the candidates who are appearing for these particular test series, where you are standing, what is your level of preparation, and even beyond that, you are going to get the actual feedback, which is going to definitely help you with the preparation. Then the resources access, the toppers copies, and along with that, the value addition material, which is also provided to you, because dekho, there are a lot of things being provided, but then there may be certain other developments which we want you to understand, we want you to include in your preparation in order to enrich. That's why the value added material is also going to be provided. Lastly, there will be the video explanation. As I have talked about, that the test discussion is going to take place after each and every test, and this is going to be very, very beneficial for you, because there will be again deconstruction, decoding of the answer, and along with that, the expectations that the examiner is having from your side. Now, having talked about the Vision IAS advantage, now let's also discuss about the success of the History 2025 test series as far as the UPSC examination is concerned. Why I am telling this and why I am emphasizing a lot on this particular program, the reason clearly is being stated as far as the success is concerned. So when we are talking about this particular program, in the paper 1, 15 out of 23 theory question, because there are also the question regarding the maps. So out of 23 theory question, 15 questions were directly asked. Not exactly the same statements, but yes, the inference you can draw. For some questions it is like exactly, and for certain questions, yes, to some extent you can derive the context of that question from the questions that were asked in the test series. And when we are talking about the map locations, in that also 12 out of 20 map locations were directly or indirectly were being provided either in the test series or in the Abhyas. Similarly, when we talk about the paper 2, which includes the modern and the world history, 19 out of 28 questions that are exactly or inferred, can be inferred from the test series and the Abhyas. That means now there is also the aspect regarding the previous year's question added to this. This particular number of questions which are provided here is also bound to increase. And that is going to help you in order to identify the theme, in order to deconstruct them, and in order to incorporate them to further value add in your answers. Now, it's not only about just I'm telling you, that's why you should believe. There are also the links provided to you, or I'll show you also regarding the questions, that how there were questions directly or indirectly were asked. So for example, this on the Vision IAS portal on the blog section, you can visit it also. But then in that particular context, what you can see that, just a moment. So there, yeah. So see, when we talk about the paper 1, in that particular paper 1, you can see that the section includes the ancient as well as the medieval history. And in that particular sense, 15 out of 23 theory question, 12 out of 20 map. And like this, there were questions that were there. Like for example, the religious themes inspired a large section of the literature in the provincial languages. That means the vernacular ones, right? And in that particular sense, the similar kind of question was already provided in the test series, the role of the Bhakti movement in the shaping vernacular literary traditions in India. Now there is also test code being provided, so you can also get through this. Apart from that, even not only one question, you can see there are many questions. For example, like the question regarding Karkhana, this was already being provided in the test series with the test code mentioned. Along with that, the questions are also regarding, let's say, the Chalcolithic period, regarding the microliths. The question regarding the microliths was there. Even apart from that, many other questions are there. These questions, along with the the reference wala test code is also provided along with this. Similarly, when you talk about the paper 2, in the paper 2 also the similar kind of reflections you can observe. So just go through the blocks of this and then you can get a clear idea regarding how the questions were asked. Like for example, here when we are talking about these questions, there is direct or indirect linkages regarding this as far as the examination is concerned. So here also you can see that there were 19 out of 28 questions. The question regarding 1832 Act, there is also question regarding 1832 Act in the test series. Along with that, there are all the other questions which we have mentioned along with the reference test code is provided to you. So you can have a check through the Vision IAS website, specifically in the blogs option, and then you can get a clear idea regarding how the questions were inspired directly or indirectly from these particular resources. Now, as we have discussed all the things regarding this particular test series, in the very end, as this particular motto is saying, that we don't just test you, we train you to succeed. See, it's not like it's such kind of test series which is like any other test series, right? It's the test series which is not only to provide you the probable question, it is to provide you the entire idea, integrating the PYQs, providing you the question in order to break the inertia, deconstructing those particular question in order to get you through this particular process of writing answers, then will expose you to a lot of questions which UPSC can ask, and even will help you to simulate the UPSC like environment, and along with that obviously abhyas and all are there in order to integrate all these things in your preparation. So believe me, if you are taking history as an optional subject, this can be a very, very, very important thing for you, and this is definitely going to help you with respect to your preparation. So just go through the brochure of the history optional ones and try to assess the features that I have already discussed in detail, and then decide as per your wish. Thank you everyone.